For a session presented by Allianz Partners, please welcome Chief Officer of Travel for Allianz Partners, Anna Kofoed, in discussion with SkiftX Vice President Jeremy Kressmann.
Anna, welcome to Skift Global Forum. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
You've joined us today to talk about travel insurance. I think it's no surprise to anyone in this room, this is not a new product. It's been around over a century. I actually looked this up. Travel insurance has been around since 1864. Allianz Partners has been around since the 1890s. But this is a product that's very popular with travelers, right? So my sense is the travel industry has changed a lot in the last 5 years, and that's generated a lot of learnings for you all at Allianz. So let's start there. What new shifts are you seeing in the travel environment that might be like industry operational disruptions, new traveler needs? What are you seeing, and give me the lay of the land?
So we're seeing quite a lot of different elements and things happening in the travel industry. I think one of the ones that I bet all of us in this room experience is disruption. And we've seen a lot of disruption. I think disruption isn't new, but the number of disruptions that we see are increasing. It's linked to the climate change, it's linked to floodings, wildfires, it's also sometimes technology. Some of us might have been stuck in that problem not so long ago. And it's also political, geopolitical issues. And really what happens is that travelers get stuck. And travelers are very clear that it's not the travel provider's fault that they get stuck. They don't blame the travel provider.
Right.
However, what they want is a solution. And I think that is why we're seeing that travelers are increasingly looking for travel insurance when they travel.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We actually have a slide here. Skift and Allianz Partners worked together on a report earlier this year. We surveyed travelers to understand what was on their minds about customer experience, about travel worries. And we actually see here that 65% of travelers, because of the volatility you're describing, Anna, have actually said they strongly agree or somewhat agree that they want travel insurance increasingly.
Yeah, I think one of the other findings that I actually personally found quite interesting was that the younger generations are even more interested in travel insurance. I always had the assumption that maybe as we get older, we become a little bit more risk averse and we want travel insurance. But actually, if we think about it, the younger, they spend a big part of their disposable income on travel, and therefore they want that investment to be protected when they travel. So quite interesting.
You know, your answer just now touched on traveler needs, so I want to actually ask you about that. There's certain attributes, it sounds like, travelers are asking for more in this more volatile environment, this more uncertain environment. Help me understand what you're seeing travelers need. If there like commonalities or any attributes that you're hearing more frequently.
So we see a lot of different needs, and I think they're not really new, but I think they're becoming more and more important. One of them clearly is that we need to personalize, and when you look at insurance, what we found is that when you travel internationally, you have different needs than when you travel domestically.
Sure.
You want medical coverage because you probably don't have that. So there is you have a much bigger probability to want to have travel insurance. We also see that the more expensive the trip gets, the more people want insurance.
Sure.
Apart from that, what we're seeing is that digitalization, again, not new at all, but we are really seeing that travelers are expecting that we're proactive, that if they're delayed, they don't really want to tell us that they're delayed. They want us to know that they're delayed so that we can give them access to a lounge or give them money so that they can go and buy drinks and food. What we're also seeing is, and that is really interesting, is the human interaction. No? So yes, digital is important. Younger generations, everyone wants they want digitalization, but they also really, really want to have human interaction. And what we have noticed is, when it comes to especially our business, it depends on the stress level. So if you need to file a claim because you've been delayed or you've had your trip canceled, nobody wants to see a human being. They just want that to happen on an app, very easy,
right.
Off it goes. But if you're stuck in a country and you have a medical emergency, they really, really want to speak to somebody. And that is why, interesting enough, with you, we did some research. And what we found was that 61% of travelers are willing to pay for better service.
And again, we have a slide here showing this. So you mentioned personalization, you mentioned digitalization, and you mentioned a human experience, right? This slide speaks to that. People are telling us in this survey that we did that they pay extra to have access to 24/7 customer support. Skift did this really interesting feature a few years back talking about silent travelers. Everyone's okay with digital services when things are going well. Yeah. It's when things are not going right that you actually want to talk to a human being, and having that 24/7 access is really, really important.
No, I think the combination is fundamental, and it's really part of what we focus on and invest in both, both digital and the human element.
So we just talked about needs. How is Allianz evolving your product offerings, your services in response to this? And as part of this question, I want to talk about terms you use. We talk about insurance, right? I think a lot of people in the audience know travel insurance, what that is. You use the term travel protection. You talk about travel companion. Explain to me why as part of your answer to this.
So actually, I'm quite new to Allianz Partners. I joined the company less than a year ago, and it was very much that actually that caught my interest. I come from travel technology, so going into insurance was a big jump. And it was really this idea that Allianz is not just an insurance company. It really is a company that wants to create a great experience. And when we talk travel insurance, it's about creating a great travel experience. So travel insurance in itself is just the financial part. If something goes wrong, we will reimburse you for the different costs you had related to your trip. But there is more to that, and Allianz Partners has now for several years really thought of ourselves as travel protection. Sure. Because it really is that moment when you're on your trip and something happens, you get ill, you need support, you need help. And that is where Allianz Partners is there. Actually, one of my first experiences in the company was when I was taken to our, we call it platform, but it's the customer support, the customer service, and I met with the medical staff that are there 24/7 around the world in different places, and they will fly out to get you home if something happens to you on a trip. And we have our own equipment because we need to make sure nothing goes wrong. And some of the stories are incredible about how people on their holidays, unfortunately, have tough moments where we need to bring them home. And I think that for me was very, very special to see. And then from there, you could say that's why we talk about travel protection and not just insurance. Yeah. But actually, we want to go a step further. And also one of the reasons I am a very strong believer in this is that making it a travel companion, making us go with the traveler from pre, during, and post-trip. So be there in moments where information is needed, where maybe the traveler is stressed or to avoid that the traveler gets stressed. Right. So before you leave, it could be, what's the weather like? What does my flight look like? Is my gate changing? As I go on my flight, it's really, we've created an app where we will guide you, we will take you, it's called Allianz, and you can download it, please do, and see what it is, and especially when you have a travel insurance with us. Then you can actually, when you're in trip, you can access telemedicine. How many of you have been on a trip where suddenly you're maybe not majorly ill, but you might need some medication, and you don't speak the language of the country you're in? I personally have tried that, and today I still don't know exactly which medication I actually got, because I wasn't sure. Here on this app, you can do telemedicine. You can speak to a doctor that can get you the prescription that you need. So that's when you're in trip.
Well, even just like you think about medication names in foreign languages, you may not know what that is. Having a trusted source you can go to is really valuable.
So we also have hospital finder. So you have all these kind of services, and we're building more and more services that really are to support the traveler when they're away. And then, of course, when you get home, an easy access to file a claim if something has happened. And I think that is one of the things I really like about Allianz Partners, is that we actually want to pay the claim, because we have very clear data that shows when we are very, very good at paying the claim, that's actually when customers come back to us. So we don't get up in the morning hoping that nobody's going to make a claim. We get up in the morning thinking, how can we help the travelers that have gotten stuck or have had something happen to them during their trip?
And I want to take a step back. look at the broader environment, we've seen a lot of new entrants in the travel space in recent years. They offer what's being marketed as travel insurance. I think you have a particular perspective on this. Explain what some travel companies are getting wrong about this type of experience and how you're thinking about it a little differently.
Yeah. As I spent my life, 25 years in the travel industry, I think I've always talked about how the travel industry needs to be more seamless. And I think that what some of the newer players are doing is they're going in as providing insurance into a particular part of the travel experience.
Okay.
Only, for example, you have insurance for your cancellation, or you have insurance for a connecting flight. And I think what we believe in is what the traveler really wants is this end-to-end, is that I'm covered from when I leave to when I come back. And from what we see also, and several of our partners are in the room, and thank you so much for doing business with us, what we see is that if you're an airline, or if you're a hotel or a travel player, you want to have insurance that covers and creates this peace of mind pre, during, post-trip. And I think that's the difference between some of the players that we see today in the marketplace.
Yeah, I think that proactivity and that seamlessness is a big part of what's awesome about what you're offering. Anna, we only have a little bit of time left, but I'm curious about this topic of innovation. You, of course, come from a technology background. You were previously at Amadeus. Talk to me about how Allianz is seeing the opportunity with something like AI. This is such a big part of the conversation here and in the industry. Does AI help you deliver better on this customer experience, this seamlessness that you're describing?
Yeah. So for sure that we will see that AI will create a much better travel experience, I think, for all of us, and we've talked a lot about it this morning. And we will definitely add it in so that it goes into the whole experience. I think one of the particular areas that is very obvious where we're really investing at the moment is actually in the claim space.
Sure.
So that if you do a claim with us, then over time, many, and most of our claims will actually be done in 24 hours and already are today. And that is what I went back to. So if it is simple, then AI can do so much, and it can actually be frictionless for the traveler if they ever have a claim with us. And that is where AI is a great help, and where we as a company, Allianz is investing heavily, and you probably know, but in financial services, there really is a huge potential for AI to play a key role, both for efficiency, but more than anything, really for creating a better experience for the customers.
Fantastic. Well, Anna, it's been so great to speak with you. We had a QR code up here for a report you can download with all the findings that you found. Thank you again for being with us today, Anna.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you.
Go ahead.